because of the trend of virtual meetings, it's absolutely shaping everything in every market right now in the way that people do business. In the future, consumers are going to want to go into virtual meetings. And why is that? Psychologically, they want to test out an agent, their skill set, and do it virtually rather than having to go and meet them.
All right, well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Roundtable. I'm James Sparkman, the Director of Marketing and Sales here at Home ASAP. Alongside me is my colleague, John Walker, who's our Digital Marketing Coordinator. And today we're joined by Steve Linnin, who's an industry vet with over 30 years experience as a real estate broker and also 26 years as a mortgage broker. But what he's doing now is really leveraging that experience and helping agents with things like website development, but more importantly, digital marketing strategies to help them navigate what's a constantly evolving environment for marketing and generating leads for their business. So obviously kind of the ongoing topic that we've been talking about on the podcast and likely will be for the foreseeable future is obviously the impacts of COVID-19. And we brought Steve on today because he's finding a lot of unique and creative ways to leverage different things on the web to help agents evolve their business and adapt to some of these new strategies. So maybe, Steve, we could start by you telling us what sort of unique obstacles have you seen agents face during the crisis thus far?
Sure. Agents really are going through a challenging time. I've seen it happen many times in my career. Some of the things that they're going through right now, which are kind of unique and different, is this is the first time in history where you've got kids having to stay at home permanently for a period of time and do their homeschool, move around and try to figure out how to use computers and get online and get their course materials and all that kind of stuff, while mom or dad or both of them are out trying to do real estate, talking to their clients, trying to retain clients that are sitting back waiting, Some of them might have had some challenging situations where there's one that's losing their job, something like that. So there's a lot of different things going on right now that are affecting people in real estate, both on the purchase side, on the seller side, and on the real estate agent side, doing their work to try to make things happen for everybody and keep people together so that when this challenge gets moving forward and we get out of it, they're ready, willing, and able to want to, buy a house, sell a house, and do their life the best they possibly can. So there's other things that are going on. Take care of the kids. Let's see here. The other thing was trying to inspire real estate agents, or not real estate agents, consumers who want to purchase or sell to take action during these times. Mm-hmm. Do they want to keep the house on the market? Do they want to still show it? How to get people out there to want to engage and talk? So keep them in your sphere of influence to cause them to want to do something with you when the time happens, right? Well, one of the ways that I figured out how to do that was using virtual meetings. And I decided to transition that into not only virtual meetings, but also have them be able to do it multiple times so they can create trust. And then if they like you and they trust you, the probabilities are they're going to want to do business with you. So as I say, if they can just have 3 exposures with people virtually, the probabilities are they're going to have a client for life. And it doesn't matter if a client is just looking 8 months before they actually want to purchase, or if they want to do it right now. Mm-hmm. It's actually an incredible opportunity for a real estate agent, a loan officer, and others to be able to engage with people that they might want to do business with, create that relationship, and move it forward to a closed transaction. So what I've decided to do is create a way to do that over my years. So I created some landing pages and did some other things. And I also infused Homes app, because I happen to think they're doing a fantastic job. I've built many IDX integrations over the years. That's Internet Data Exchange. It's a real estate platform that allows for people to see properties within websites and other ways. I've created a new way to be able to do it within landing pages that are virtual landing pages that you can set up. You can put them in your email marketing campaigns, and you can send them out anytime you want in sequences or just one-offs to clients to get them wanting to come into a meeting, meet you, look at properties, teach them how to use the platform, how to engage with others and do things like that and find properties that they like, and then have it be done multiple times. And therefore, guess what? You build more relationships over time and you get to close more transactions, which helps everybody. We're coming into a period that we'll talk about shortly, I'm sure, that there's pent-up demand, and we're going to move into that pent-up demand, and it's going to cause real estate agents to be really, really busy. It's also mortgage lenders among real estate rates, things like that. So that's where I'm at, and I can go ahead and pass it on to you guys if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's a great point that there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand. And I know that you've been using IDX Home Search in a really creative way that not only minimizes the contact and creates all those touches that you need, but also ultimately saves the agents a lot of time in how they do their interactions. So could you go into a little more detail about how you're actually using the IDX Home Search in your landing pages?
Yeah, let me bring you in. Let me bring you into a page right now. And let me know if you can see it now. Right here, do my little swirly here.
Yep.
Perfect. So this is my general page. Anybody can go to. It's called virtualmeetingsoftware.net. And this particular page I built out to get people a feel and an understanding of the power of virtual meetings and using links within those pages to do a number of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do for real estate agents. You have to excuse me, I have a little bit of a dry mouth today for some reason. But we're going to go ahead and move down here. It's you can use it with Zoom and Vectera, and now Meet is opened up to the public fully. You've got, interestingly enough, Facebook's coming out, and people don't know it yet. They're testing it in Europe. They're coming out with their own meeting platform as well for virtual meetings. Also Skype and all the other ones that are out there that are actually coming into the fray because they see an incredible opportunity. And they know that the trends, because they do their homework, right? They know that the trends in the future are is everybody going to be doing virtual meetings. So let's go ahead and get into here. What I've decided to do is I created this page here, and we'll just go back down to the nuts and bolts here. And I have different ways in which different verticals, different businesses can come into and do virtual meetings, like wedding planners and mortgage lenders and health fitness coaches and credit counselors and all kinds of different people. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to bring this one in because that's our topic of expertise in this case. So let's go ahead and bring it in. So what I do is I build this particular landing page and I design it for each agent specifically for their own branding. So what we do is we come in, we start out with this particular page here, and then I'll adjust it to what their needs are based on their locale. And then what we'll do is we'll integrate both their meeting software and also search. So let me show you what it looks like going down the list here. So we'll have the call to actions. You have the for a home buyer and a home seller, and there's very much a huge amount of power in working with home sellers as well as home buyers. And there's some hidden gems in here which I'll talk about a little bit later on. So we'll go back down here. Little information, and this is all about marketing to that particular seller or the buyer. And so we can reduce their fear of coming on to an online meeting. What is an online meeting? Why does it matter? That kind of thing. And then right down here, a little bit about yourself. And then the realtor can come in and they can put in a video, like a welcome video, to allow for them to pre-frame a home buyer or home seller about who they are, what they do, and why it matters to work with them, and all that kind of stuff. So the next part is what I do is I bring in the actual ability for us to go do a meeting as a real estate agent or a mortgage professional. We can come and do a meeting. I'll show you that in a minute. And we can also afterward allow for that person to come in and do a meeting right after and just start doing searches right in here. So I've also built it right into here, these tiles. And I've got the 12 or 13 top, what I call hot points that are in here, like first-time home buyer, buying a condo or a townhome, searching for homes with pools, living on a golf course for retirees perhaps, active adults, luxury. We can put anything you want in here based on your demographic, where your area is, and what your offerings are on a local basis. So I could change that out and adjust pictures and do things like that.
So just to clarify, when they click the links, that's going to bring them to that search criteria automatically.
Watch, I'm going to show you right now. So what they're going to experience, I'm going to show you exactly. Let's say I had a nice meeting with them. I said, we're done with the meeting. I've shown you what to do because they're watching and learning what I'm doing as I'm doing it. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And then they're going to be able to experience coming back and doing it themselves, and they're going to be able to cause engagement. So watch what happens. So I can go here if I wanted to, and I can pull this up, and it's going to bring in Homes app. We'll bring it in, and they can go ahead and just do an instant search if they wanted to. Now, they can come back if they want, and they can, let's say they know that they qualify somewhere between 200 and 400 or 400 and 600,000. So I can bring that in and watch how fast it is. This is what I love about Homes app. Homes app is so dynamic. It's so fast because it's residing outside of the actual website. So it's actually loading much faster. It's given a better user experience for the consumer. And it's also a credible opportunity for real estate agents to be able to show their skill set by being able to go and learn how to use this particular platform, and then showing the expertise, showing how to do it, and training the client on what I say 3 experiences or less, doesn't matter, to use it. And then guess what? They're not going to run over to Zillow. They're going to stay right here. They're going to come right into the platform. They're going to be able to do search and all that kind of stuff. So let me bring you into one of these just real quick here. We'll bring it in. Then what I can do is I can, as a real estate agent, like I'm talking to you gentlemen, like if you're a home buyer, so let's say, I can bring it in. I can go ahead and move it up real quick here. I can tile through. This is just an incredible opportunity for you to show the house virtually without ever having to go there. And what's really nice, if you're an agent and you talk to them ahead of time, you can find out their specific area down to the community. You can even narrow it down to say 3 or 4 or 5 houses because they've been pre-qualified in that specific area. You can go ahead and put those houses in here as far as the what do you call it? The ID for those specific houses. Bring those in and just go ahead and show the client the listings. Those 5 listings, let's say you narrow it down to 1. They like it a lot, and guess what? You get to go call them. Now you've narrowed it down to 1. You don't not having to show 5 or 6, 7, 8, 10 houses on a weekend, for one client driving around. You can do it virtually. Now,
Exactly.
because of the trend of virtual meetings, it's absolutely shaping everything in every market right now in the way that people do business. In the future, consumers are going to want to go into virtual meetings. And why is that? Psychologically, they want to test out an agent, their skill set, and do it virtually rather than having to go and meet them. And they're going to want to see what their skills are, how dynamic they are, what kind of things that they're doing that are innovative, things of that nature, to help them along to make a quality decision on whether they want to work with them. So I happen to believe that this is the future. Millennials are going to pick it up really, really quick. Of people my age, or let's say 55 or 45 and older, those people are going to pick it up because they're being trained and educated on virtual meetings. So it's really going to merge into a utility, a platform that everybody's going to want to use. And the biggest reason is it's really efficient for both the consumer and the real estate agents or the mortgage lenders. So let me show you what else is great. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
As a millennial, myself, what I like about it is, we're so used to doing everything online, even before this, in terms of, you think about it, you've got disruptors like Carvana who have made it pretty seamless for people to just go online, look at a car, feel like they've actually seen the car in person, and cut out a lot of the costs involved with physically going to a dealership. But not only that, just millennials are most comfortable in their homes, and so I think this is what the pandemic has done, at least for the home buying industry. Millennials, I think, has just helped facilitate that for the home buying process, which was something millennials probably were open to before, but just they didn't have the resources on the agent's end to kind of accomplish these things. So what you're doing with the IDX product is helping the agent, I guess, kind of seamlessly do that and make it easier for millennials, but not just millennials, other age brackets and groups that are now having to adapt to this. Just much easier for them to I guess dip their toes into that process, or kind of get into the top of the funnel for the agent, and set up that initial call, which I think is probably half the battle with millennials. Is they do all the legwork and research first, and they kind of know what they want, and then it's a matter of just picking an agent to facilitate it for them. So this is really kind of, I guess, getting a more personal relationship early on in that process for them.
Yeah, definitely so. And let me tell you what else I love about this as far as a virtual experience. I get to do an aerial view. I get to do that. I get to do a satellite view, and I get to do the map view. And then on some listings, when it pulls up, let's go back to one real quick here. Let's just go to, let's say, this one here and see if they have it here in this particular. This is all conditioned to based on, here you go. This is the one I want to show you. I just absolutely love this part. We got street view. Hold on. We got aerial. Some of these actually show a street view where I'm able to rotate in. I don't know if it's this one here. Maybe this is it here. No, okay. Well, you know the idea. I can rotate into a listing, move around the neighborhood, and I can actually see the neighborhood, and I can say, hey, do you like this particular neighborhood? Or should we move over to a different neighborhood? Now, guess what? Now I've created efficiency because I've let them see maybe 2 or 3 different neighborhoods in different areas. And by doing that as an agent, 2 things happen. If I'm showing them that now, I have an opportunity to move them up to maybe a higher price point that they qualify for, rather than having them start at a lower price point to get maybe higher quality, whatever they want, and what their perceptions are, and educate, inform them. Therefore, they're going to be really happy and excited that they didn't pick the area that they thought they picked. You know, and that happened with my nephew. He bought a house in Phoenix in one of the worst barrios in Phoenix, and his dad called me and said, Steve, how do I get out of this? So I told him what to do and how to do it, and he ended up getting out of it. And he was really excited about the fact that he actually moved to an area, and he actually was able to sell the house and sell it for a profit. This is during 2012 or 13 when things were terrible, and he was able to get out of that situation into a new one. So it really is great. Well, also I'll show you, while you're talking to the consumer, you can also show them how they can go ahead and ask you questions right here, right? And you can also come down here and you can also say, hey, you know what, if you're doing it on your own, whether you're doing it in my landing page or you're doing it on Google My Business, I'm sorry, not Google My Business, on Facebook, and wherever you do it, you can go ahead and get a hold of me, and let's go ahead and take a look at another property. Now, I would suggest if you just show them the first time, educate them the first time, and then send them a email sequence, the probabilities are they're going to want to do business with you and come back to you. And the key thing is never, never, never pressure anybody to do anything in this world. Their timing is their timing. When they want to do it, they want to do it. And if you're the agent, you're the 1 out of 2 or 2 out of 2 out of 10 that's not doing that, you're going to get all the business. Because if you've got a book of, let's say you got your 1,920 Mets as in KW built up over time, and you've got those leads, and you're not calling them, and now you can call them and send them out and do meetings, you're going to be able to build that relationship over. And if you did, let's say, 1 meeting a night, 7 days a week in a 30-day period, you're going to really, really grow your business 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road when that client is ready. And not only that, but there's a secondary opportunity. And that opportunity is what? A referral. Every time you have an experience with that client and they like you, trust you, want to do business with you, and you ask for referrals, guess what? They're talking to their friends. I got my guy, my real estate guy, who's really covering me. He's showing me properties virtually. Not only that, he's looking out for me and making sure I get quality, and he's allowing me to meet some other people to be able to, like three lenders, to pick which one is going to be a good fit for me. And then now I'm pre-qualified. I know what I want to purchase. I know how to search for properties, and you can always migrate those people over into your CRMLS, your in-house platform, and also do that as well after you've captured them. I call it capture them because that's what you're doing as a lead, right? And bring them into that, and then just put them on a drip campaign. And obviously with this platform, there's a drip campaign, I believe, right, gentlemen, that we can utilize, and have a drip campaign in there as well, and just keep them moving along and come back and do that kind of stuff. So it's just a great thing. Now, another feature I like about this, and I'll move into something else, is I happen to think this particular platform is the most dynamic platform for showing the neighborhood. It shows, you go to other platforms, they only show you 3 or 4 different cafes. Look at the list here. I mean, this is just fantastic what you're seeing here.
Yeah.
And it just works. It just does a great job. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, if we go back into here, if I go back into here and I hit the map view down at the bottom corner here, and I'm acting like I'm talking to the consumer right now, right?
Sure.
I can narrow in and I can come into an area and I can see properties that are listed, right, in that range, and bring those properties in. And I can click on those properties as a consumer. Now, this is another thing that you can teach that particular client to narrow down into a specific local community. And then on top of that, they can come up here and do search queries and do filter searches, which you can teach them out of 3 times, 1 time, however you want to do it, and just say, hey, you know what? I want to look for properties with a view, or a pool. So now I just pulled up all the properties between $400 and $600 with a pool. Save that. Now I can look at that. So it's just really, really easy for them. As long as you with ease, just teach them how to do it. They're going to do it, and guess what? They're not going anywhere. They're going to stay right there. And the reason is because they have the ability to go back once they sign in, which they will. I'm already logged in, but there's a little pop-over that happens, and you guys know about that. If you want, I can show the consumer or anybody. Let's see if we can do that real quick here.
Sure.
It takes 2 seconds. I just want to show you what this looks like. So I built this site for this particular agent a while back, and I'm just going to click on here to show you. When it comes in like this. And so the consumer, whether they're on a laptop, desktop, mobile phone, they can click on here and they can quickly and dynamically just sign in with Facebook. Well, what does that mean? That's the least pathway of entry. Once they're signed in, they're done. And guess what? You've gathered their information. Now, I will caution you that when they're gathering the information, because of IDX guidelines nationwide set forth, the realtor can only access that information when they click on one of those buttons to see the property, preview a property. Now, that does not preclude you from bringing them in and having them look at other properties and having you do a virtual meeting to show them all the properties and then get them engaged, and they'll come back and do it this way as well. So it's very, very nice, very clean, very dynamic. They're going to be able to get their properties and all that kind of good stuff. So let's get out of that real quick here.
Right, and for the people who are listening on the podcast, what he was showing us just now was a pop-up that said get updates, and then it had a way for them to enter their information in.
Exactly, how to get started with ease, right? So you can see, so if you can imagine after they're done being shown the possibilities, then they can go right back in here, and guess what? They can not only do that, but they get to grab this link and send it over to their buddy or friend. And then they can come in and schedule a meeting. See, because up here is where they can actually come in and they can schedule a meeting. Now I'll show you what I have. I have it set up where I click here. I use a product called Vectera. It has its own containers, virtual meetings. And I can go right in here and I can go ahead and schedule a meeting. I can go ahead and select whether I want it to be a phone or if I want it to be a online meeting. So if I'm a phone, because I'm out and about, I'm on a mobile device, but I want to get in the call as well as my wife, and my wife's going to be in the virtual meeting, then we could do it that way for 2 people coming into the call, let's say, okay? When you go into the meeting, you can schedule the typical stuff that goes on. Now, once that happens, and this platform as well as all the other platforms, they're all moving along and doing these type of scheduling features. It allows for you to schedule, set up time slots based on how you want to set them up as a realtor, and then you can set your timelines. So it works out really, really well. So let's go ahead and get back here. And go ahead. Yeah.
With that, once you've been working with, what have you found in terms of consumers booking these appointments with the agents, and kind of what the show rates for those are, and what the agents are doing to, help improve those show rates?
Well, I'll tell you what, the show rates are very, very good. People are starting to understand and grasp an understanding of why it's important to do virtual meetings. People do want to go buy properties, especially right now when rates are the lowest they've ever been in history. So, and they want to get engaged. So they're pre-framing themselves. They're figuring out, okay, how can I go buy something? When is the right time for me? My husband might have temporarily been, furloughed, that kind of thing. And but when we get back online, which we're doing right now, they all want to jump in and do something. So a lot of it has to do with how you do your marketing and your branding, in your email campaigns, in LinkedIn, in Facebook, and Instagram, as far as linking strategies and structures to link both this and also link Homes app links for property searches. You can do that as well, which I can talk about later. And there's some strategies and things that I can teach agents along the way to get them set up. So it's what I call a set it and forget it approach, rather than having to go on each day because we know they're all busy. If I can set them up and get them to a place where they're able to do meetings, do live meetings, schedule it, and then move forward and just pass them on to real loan officers, get pre-qualified, and show them listings, and show less listings and get a higher probability that they're going to close a transaction. That's going to be a benefit for everybody. So what was the other thing you were asking me there, James? I had a break.
So really, it was just, I think you kind of answered it, but it was really more so what the show rates have been like for the agents so far, and then what they're doing, at least in their, whether it's email, maybe what sort of communications are they using or utilizing to improve those show up rates for those appointments.
A lot of them use some use Mautic, which is a free email marketing platform, Mautic. They're also using Line Desk, and they're integrating Line Desk in their campaign, their long drip campaigns. And they're doing two approaches. One approach is a one-off email, so they can just send it out dynamically. So if they talk to somebody, briefly, or somebody calls them, they can just go ahead and schedule them right then and there. And then the other is the long drip campaigns. And it doesn't matter if you have HubSpot or whichever platform, or even your company email marketing campaign, or if you have it in a link embedded into MailChimp. They're all working just fine. It's about exposure, branding, and getting yourself noticed out there. And there truly is a full approach, which we'll go into later on. As far as it's just not one approach, it's many things that are happening at one time. And you want to do more of them, and there's a way in which you can syndicate all that stuff to be able to have more results coming back to you for less efforts. But
Now,
that there's a simple process and things like that with everybody, So
yeah. Now, Steve, I know a lot of our viewers and listeners are probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed. They might not be so technology savvy, and this seems like a lot of new technology to take on all at once. So, what would you say to people who bring up those kinds of concerns?
Well, I think the first thing is don't stress about it, because your focus in need should be going out and looking for property and finding property for clients, building relationships, things like that. So what you do is you just take that other hard lifting over to somebody who can do it. Now, if you're starting out, there's ways in which you can do it and you build yourself up. You don't have to, throw a lot of money into it. There's just things that you set up, and you just have someone else set it up for you. And then just work together in the things that you can do. And some of the things I tell agents to do is, go get the YouTube application app and download it to your Android phone or your Apple phone, and just go out and start doing videos, and then upload those videos and just add a link to the video when you get back home, things like that, to a meeting. Go talk about the community. Talk about migrations and people moving from different states, and have meeting videos that are focused on reasons why people from other states, like California, for example, would want to migrate out and move to Arizona or move to Florida or wherever they want to move to, and therefore start cultivating business that way. So those are just a couple of examples. So I could go on for hours, but I don't. For this purpose, we'll keep it simple. That's why I'm here. So I wanted to show you also, if we could bridge through.
Sure.
There's an importance with virtual meetings, because virtual meetings can help you both on sending out links, the search links, and sending out the virtual meeting links through social media, whether it be a link to an image, or a GIF, or a link to a video that you're pushing out. And there's tricks and methodologies that we can use that are easy to do. And also have an engagement with not only buyers, but have an engagement with the sellers. Because if you can do a pre-listing agreement with them and a pre-listing presentation, let's say, with them, and do it virtually, they get to fill you out, you get to fill them out, over one or two experiences, and really allow them to define whether they want to work with you ahead of time, right? Which they're gonna enjoy, and it's just a better way of doing it, and test the waters, see if you both are a fit that way, and then move forward if you are. So another thing is the backlink ecosystem, what I call backlinks ecosystem, and those are things that you can do with just using the links that are available to be able to put different places. And you can have somebody like me, or you can do it simply yourself, and it really isn't that hard. It's just basically grabbing an image, taking some of the technology that's available out there, and putting out some content. It doesn't have to be every bit of content everywhere all the time. It just needs to be something that is local, that serves purpose, that's honest and truthful, and has an intro and an outro. An intro is an introduction, and outro is what you're going to say afterward that says, hey, come on and maybe try me out, right? And put an intro and outro to it, and use it with a podcast or video. And if you just do a couple of those type of things in your Facebook, or YouTube, those two things, you're going to really, really get good results over time. So really good stuff.
Right. As a Facebook marketing company, we definitely agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys do a great job over there too. I've enjoyed it when I had you guys over in LA, and a bunch of my friends that also enjoyed the experience. Not having to worry about pushing content out. They did it for me, and they did it successfully. So it worked out well. So I wanted to bridge, if I could, real quick here. I wanted to show you, if I can get there. The other thing that I'm doing, I wanted to just show one website. This is a site I did for Tracy Sutherland. She's out of Southern California.
Okay.
And if you look, this is a website now. As far as IDX, I really wanted to create a way in which real estate agents could have an affordable option to the typically $55 to $130 a month in IDX integration, meaning having the IDX prop listings in their website. So guess what? I put 2 and 2 together, and luckily for me and everybody else, Homes app woke me up and say, hey, guess what? We're over here, come try us out. So what I did is I did the same thing within a website, and this client absolutely loves it. Now, if you look at what I did here in her website, look how fast it is, brings it in, and she can do the exact same thing, but she's doing it right here on her website. See, and then same sort of thing down here. Nice presentation. We've got the hot spots down here. The same sort of thing. We can go to luxury homes in Orange County, the beach cities. Do the same exact thing. We can triangulate. Now, each one of these, what I did is when I went in, I actually narrowed it down, did the research and narrowed it down for every single setup here and dropped it in, based on the type of setup, whether it be pools in one community. This is a global perspective for all about a 10-mile radius, I believe it is, or maybe 20-mile radius, but I can narrow it right down to a specific city as well. So it all depends. And when I set up for this particular approach, I do just a global, because really it's all about what? It's capturing a lead and then working that lead, find out what they really qualify for, and then narrowing them down and doing the virtual meetings to show them what, how good they are, basically, the real estate agent, how professional they are, and how they can help them. So that's just one example. I do real estate sites all the time. I'll just show you one more real quick here.
Sure.
And on this one here, I did the same sort of thing. I happen to work with a lot of Realty One agents. That's why recently. And if you look right here, what I did is I went over here and under buyers, what I've done here, if you scroll down, is I've actually narrowed it down to the actual local communities. So people can actually come right into the local communities and click on those. Okay. So it just really makes, and guess what? At the affordable price that you guys are offering, it's just absolutely incredible, to have that opportunity. And it really helps those agents. If an agent is a brand new agent and they can't afford a full website, guess what? We can just set them up with a meeting site, get them going, have them build those relationships, things like that. So I wanted to bring that in, show you that, and just show you how valuable it is for real estate agents.
I would appreciate that.
Sure.
Awesome. Let's see. So
I was going to interject for a second. Steve, I think you touched on a few different things here for this next question I have for you. But as someone who's got over 30 years experience as a real estate broker, and now you're really working on this kind of digital marketing, web development side of things for agents, with the current crisis, looking on your 30 years experience, what sort of advice do you have for agents navigating the current crisis in general? Because we work with tens of thousands of agents, and we've gotten a variety of questions, anything from, should I even be advertising right now? Should I bother trying to generate seller leads if there's a shortage of inventory? Am I wasting my ad dollars by doing that? Does it make sense for me to actually do more advertising right now? Are ad costs really low because more people are using the internet and ad inventories are in abundance right now? Just trying to leverage that experience you've had and dealing with all these changing environments, dealing through, I'm sure, other many crises that have happened. What sort of advice do you have for agents?
Okay, a couple things. In a crisis like that, when there's a crisis like this, or the one that happened in 2010, what normally happens is you have a reduction in real estate agents across the board in every city and every state in the union, right? They're all, a percentage of them are saying, I'm done, I'm walking away. And guess what? That creates an incredible, wonderful opportunity for real estate agents to come in and fill those shoes, right? And have more abundance because there's less people doing it. The ad costs, as far as ad costs, always remember ad costs are seasonal. The best time to always buy ads is during October, November, December, and January, because usually the gestation period for somebody buying a house is usually between, right now, and a lot of them are coming into spring, waiting for their first check from from their taxes that are coming back, or coming into the spring and in the summer where there's a lot of activity. Well, guess what? They got their acquisition costs reduced by buying those leads back then. Now, if we're in the situation right now and where everybody's thinking, well, should I advertise? I actually think you should do some advertising. You just need to be smart and prudent about it and define your advertising based on what metric you're going after. So if you're going after people that are, and I'll give you an example, California, there's a huge migration of people leaving California, and a large percentage of those people are empty nesters. All the baby boomers that are retiring, and they're moving out to places where like where I live in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. And exactly what I did, I got out and I took my winnings, I call it, and I bought out here. Well, that's an incredible opportunity for people like in Texas, where they're doing migrations, and from California or in Arizona or other places, right? So it's a great opportunity for you to be smart and strategic about your advertising. Now, one way to be strategic is to, let's say, advertise in Gmail ads. When you open up your Gmail email, two little ads that pop in. Well, if you were to hyper market in a strategic location, right, and go after certain people who are migrating, leaving, wanting to go to a retirement community, things like that, or just get out, it's a great and low-cost opportunity for you to get ads at an affordable price. Now, the same holds true with if you're staying local and you're wanting to advertise local. You can still advertise local affordably if you do video marketing through YouTube, let's say, and do little micro ads and video. The little 30-second inbound ads that come in before they show the actual video of what you want to watch on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Well, you could do little 15 second, 30 second videos, video vignettes, I call them, put them in there, and you're going to get the acquisition cost of those leads is very, very, very low. You'll get, and what you do is you hypermarket your competitor, which is a really strategically smart play. You have them do all their listings, and then you do an ad before and say, hey, if you're in this community, you can't afford this house, maybe you can afford this house. Mm-hmm. Maybe come on in and try me out over here. Click on the button, right? And where does it go? It goes to the online meeting, live meeting button that they can schedule, something like that. So I could go into a lot of different scenarios that would be helpful. LinkedIn is a very powerful place. I also would suggest that you hypermarket and target to professions that have stability. You got nurses, right? There's a lot of nurses activating because of what's going on. So go after some nurses that may want to buy up or buy their first house, right? Go after firemen. Go after police. Go after government institutions. Go after those places that have a lot of stability, even though there's the other sector that's having their challenges. Of course, they're going to come back online as time moves on. But strategically, it's smart to go after those people and see how many that you can, hypermarket to. So.
Right. So what I hear you saying is, stay active. Just essentially don't just lie in wait. Because that's kind of what, when kind of the dust settles here, that's what's really going to separate, a lot of these agents from each other is who is still actively marketing during that time, who is still trying to communicate with the buyers, because as you alluded to earlier, there is pent-up demand. And I think as states slowly start to reopen, we're already seeing that surge, at least on the buyer side, in demand already. So agents are, we've spoken with agents that said, business is booming right now. And it's almost been the opposite problem too, is I don't need to advertise because I've got people knocking down my door at the moment.
Absolutely.
And I think what we're sort of predicting what's going to happen is there's going to be this initial surge, and things are going to, start to flatten out a little bit, and it's probably going to be slimmer pickings than it was before, even though it seems like things are going great right at the moment. And that's why it's, I think critical to start building up that pipeline right now and taking advantage. You mentioned a lot of the Google ad costs and the YouTube side of things. What we're seeing on the Facebook side is actually a 35% drop in things like CPMs. So ads are incredibly cheap right now. And it's a great time to get out there and get more bang for your buck, even if it's going to be a little bit earlier in the buying cycle.
I will tell you, I've been through many trends over the years. I was in 1987. That was the first one that collapsed. The savings and loan debacle. And then I've been through 911 and many of them over the years. And I can tell you that if you can be steadfast and you can hold on and you just be really strategic about what you do and you hyper focus on your goals and break them into manageable bits. That's going to be really, really smart for you. Also, I suggest that you get past your fears of cold calling. One of the biggest things when I had agents underneath me was their fear to make a call.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why there's fear typically is because they're not sure that they know what they're talking about, and that they haven't learned the scripts, let's say, and learned what the market and know what to talk about. Therefore, their fear is will they not know will they get that I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. So the first step is to really learn what you're doing. Learn the market, go into your board information, find out everything you can about your market, find out where houses are selling, what range are they selling the most, and maybe go after that and hypermarket to that, right? The other thing would be using the online meetings, and also team up with other agents and other loan officers and piggyback each other so that you can have even more information about, FHA guidelines, things like that, first-time home buyer information, VA loans, all that kind of stuff. Get to know your other side and what they're doing. Also, I would suggest that there's a ton of business coming in, and it's going to be offsetting what's going on right now, and that business is from offshore with all the migration of what's going on around the world right now, and that's going to be very, very helpful down the road. We're also going to move, I would say after the election, sometime maybe in next March, April, we're going to see a shift happen, in my view, and I watch it pretty heavily, it's going to become a buyer's market. Mm-hmm. The prices are very, very high right now. We're going to see them start coming down some when that shift happens. Now, and I think it's going to not come down a lot. I think there's still going to be that range where it's, it's still really, really affordable. The rates are really, really low. They're going to keep rates low for a long time. And they're going to be able to pull a lot of people out that now have jobs, have stability. So it's actually going to incur this opportunity for people to want to come into the market and buy, because more people are going to have jobs, more people are going to have stability down the road here, in my view. So we'll see where it all goes, right? Also, using the Search Alliance, it's very, very powerful. People should look it up. If they go to your site and look up Search Alliance, there's a lot of great utilities and products over there that they can utilize to grow their business. And I think that's a smart play. And then also the real estate directory that you guys have. I've often used it if I wanted to go in and find an agent in my area that was using it. I wanted to go in there and see who they were. And what I often did is call them and said, hey, what are your experiences with it? What are you doing? What's working for you? And build a group of people that maybe you can, 2 or 3, right, of your people, and then come into a meeting once a week or once a month and just talk about it. Find out what's going on in your marketplace, or even come out of your marketplace. So all those things are very powerful.
Yeah, and one really great feature too that a lot of people don't realize about the real estate agent directory is that we have a huge Facebook group where there's just all kinds of ideas being exchanged and doing a lot of what you say. So that's a great place to bounce ideas off of people and get feedback.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'd forgotten all about that. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like we're over 50,000 agents in that group. So it's very active. I'm pretty sure it's the largest industry group on Facebook that's monitored by an actual team of admins.
If you don't mind, put that link in the link with my other links, will you? I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. But it looks like we're running out of time right now, so we'll probably have to wrap it up. And I think that in the future, we may try to do some sort of webinars or something on these topics we've been talking about as well. But
yeah, we can break them down if you choose. I can segment them into whatever different topics, and I can talk forever. So.
So if someone wants to get a hold of you, what would be the best way to contact you?
Well, a couple of different ways to contact me, and I'll go ahead and bring it in. Give me a second here. So can you see the screen right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So these are the couple ways you can contact me. I try to do it simple here. Book Me is a great place for it. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me just do this real quick. I'm sorry. Let me just take you to my Book Me page. It's bookme.stevelinnin.me. And this is my site where you can actually see my vetting. Basically, you vet me. You can see what I'm doing and what my skill sets are, and then you can schedule a meeting with me if you want, right here, and see my other things. And I also offer other different products and services that are down here to help agents and others across the country. You can kind of preview that if you want. And then I got God, that's good, Steve. Mom would slap me here. I have uh, tons of 5-star reviews. And by the way, they are true, all of them. So, and then down here, if you have FAQs about what I do, how I do it, and how it could be helpful to you, go right here. I would love to talk to you, help you along the way. And I always say, whether you want to do business with me now or do business with me in the future, it really doesn't matter with me. What's more important to me is building a relationship with you, a long-term relationship. And, there may be a fit, there may not be a fit, but let's discover and see what the possibilities are. I do appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll make sure that we have all of the links that you shared in the show notes for this episode too. So with that, you want to wrap up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Steve, I think you had a lot of great advice for agents. Like you said, I'm sure you could go on for hours about all the different things you're doing, which is a lot of really creative, I think, innovative things. And a lot of them are very hyper relevant right now, especially with what's going on. I love how you're leveraging things like our, Home ASAP's IDX search and doing some really creative things to help agents facilitate those virtual consultations, which I think is a great topic that I would love to, like John said, conduct a webinar and really kind of coach up agents on how they could accomplish that. I just want to thank you for taking the time out to cover a lot of these things with us today. I wish we had more time to go over everything, because obviously you've got a lot of great ideas and a lot of awesome strategies that I think you're finding success with for your clients. So just thank you again. And yeah, we look to working with you in the future on some of these topics to help educate our agent base.
Great. I'm looking forward to it. I really appreciate you allowing me to come into your podcast, and I'm truly blessed.